Dr. Samuel Paul, the founder of the Public Affairs Center, needs little introduction to most of us. After a productive and variegated career, Dr. Paul made Bangalore his home in 1992 and turned his attention to civic issues and public service delivery. This culminated in the establishment of the Public Affairs Center. While we are gathered here to usher in Dr. Paul's memoirs, this is by no means the end point of Dr. Paul's stream of ideas for India and the world.
Dr. Paul is perhaps one of the great Indians of our time. His dedication, his silent, persuasive, determined dedication to bring about some change in the way in which affairs are conducted in this world, in our country in particular. There must be some change. He is a passionate believer in the process of change for the better. This book is an autobiography in a different sense.
Dr. Paul says that a striking feature as I look back is the freedom and space I was given in my early years to grow and socialize. There was no air of overprotectiveness on the part of my parents.
It's in my childhood that my concept of values, what is valuable, what is right, wrong, all of these were developed. And in my case, looking back, I can say the concern about problems of society, the wider problems of society, germinated at that stage.
He's a very hard-working, humble, very systematic, maybe very intelligent. Intelligent in my complaint had been that he is intelligent in one direction.
His work has spanned many organizations, countries, and even continents. As the second director of the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, he brought a deft organizational nous to the establishment of what has become now the premier training ground in Asia for the development of young managers for the world.
It is when I came back to Bangalore and I didn't have the pressure of a job, I was not looking for a livelihood or any such, I was fairly well set, that I had this opportunity and motivation to really create an organization to deal with this that I couldn't do when I was pursuing a career. So that came in the form of Public Affairs Center. And the main problem I addressed there is, what can we and what should we as citizens do in order to improve governance, which is the function of government.
It's very difficult to separate the dance from the dancer. So the creation is very often the reflection of the creator. And we all came at a point in time to PAC when it was just beginning to coalesce itself as an institution, as a permanent aspiration. So the initial ideology, the vision, the character that Dr. Paul wanted to infuse into a movement like this affected all of us in a big way.
Dr. Paul worked hard to create an institution, an institutional network out of what essentially was a simple basic idea, that of getting citizens to participate with their experience and their ideas in the process of government.
And a couple of things stand out. One, the creation of Public Affairs Center was at a time when similar institutions did not exist in India. So this was not a case of an institution taking advantage of an inflection point, but rather an institution creating an inflection point. And we were happy and kind of lucky enough to be at that particular juncture.
What drew me to Public Affairs Center was the kind of work that the vision that Dr. Paul had of how we are going to hold government accountable, and that's a subject that's been close to my heart for quite some time, even before I met him. So that's the reason why I took up the career and said, yes, I'll do this, even though it's not really teaching.
The primary principle that Dr. Samuel Paul has instilled in the organs of government and among citizens group is that of the democratization of knowledge. Knowledge is available at many sources. It needs to be harnessed, pooled, and made available to larger and larger groups of citizens, as well as those in governance.
We try to combine generation of knowledge, that is what research is, creating new knowledge and information, with support to citizen action so that the knowledge gets translated into impact on the ground, and citizens are the medium. So if you look at the early activities of PAC meetings in the city, discussing the budget, discussing specific public service issues, talking about corruption, all these were part of that model of using knowledge in order to motivate and stimulate people to act or do something about those things.